So welcome back to the new series where we do some Spanish listening practice where I just talk in Spanish without a real plan, and later I'm going to put the subtitles in English and Spanish so that it's easy for you to follow along. You can watch this video multiple times to give you some really good Spanish practice. This video I'm going to be talking about hobbies and activities that I enjoy doing, that I like to do whenever I get the chance. After I'm done talking in Spanish, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of some of the useful vocabulary and phrases and verbs and whatnot, at least of what I can remember. Again, I don't really have a script for this. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head here. So let's get into it. Honestamente, me encanta hacer varias actividades diferentes. Amo jugar cualquier tipo de deporte y amo probar nuevos deportes. Toda mi vida he jugado fútbol. Desde que tenía 7 años he jugado en ligas de fútbol en equipos privados de mi ciudad, en los equipos de mi colegio, de mis escuelas. Y la verdad es algo que extraño muchísimo. Extraño jugar en equipos organizados, en torneos organizados. Pero trato de jugar fútbol cuando pueda con amigos o en varios grupos organizados de mi ciudad. Algo que me encanta jugar actualmente es golf y tenis. Golf es el tipo de deporte que me encanta hacer porque es algo que tiene que practicar muchísimo para poder jugar bien. Y yo amo los tipos de deportes que requieren mucha atención y mucha práctica. Tenis es chévere porque es algo que se puede jugar en la noche. Donde yo vivo siempre hay muchas canchas abiertas al público. Siempre tienen luces en la noche, así que puedes jugar en la noche sin ningún problema. Me gusta hacer ejercicio también en el gimnasio. No sé si se considera un deporte, pero es algo que hago a diario. He jugado varios nuevos deportes también, como el pickleball y disc golf, cosas así. Me considero una persona muy hiperactivo, muy activo en general. Y actualmente esas son las cosas que más me gusta hacer en mi día a día. So let's do a quick little breakdown. It's kind of hard for me to remember the things that I like to do, which is weird. I like to do a lot of different things. I want to take a quick break before the breakdown. That sounded weird. To invite you to my free training. This free training, I go over my methodology that allowed me to become fluent in Spanish within a year. So just a couple of months from now, you can be having real conversations in Spanish with native speakers. It can be done. So all you got to do is click on the link in the description to save your spot now. And again, it's 100% free, so hope to see you there. One of the words that is good to know is varias, or varios, depending on whatever you're saying after, if it's a feminine or masculine word. So I said that me gusta hacer varias actividades diferentes. I like to do various different activities. Remember that when you're saying things like diferente or diferentes, and you're describing something, to put an S if it's plural, and if not, leave it alone. Like if I were to say it's a different coffee, I would say es un café diferente. But if I were to say they are different coffees, it would be son cafés diferentes with an S at the end. So remember when you're using adjectives to add that S at the end. Another thing is I said he jugado. This is using the format, using the verb haber, which is to have done something. It's not the have of tener, like to possess something. It's the to have done something. Really important for you to know this. I've got some videos of this on my Instagram. Check me out at Michael Harper Spanish, by the way. But it's really good to know the format of using it. So whenever you want to say I have done something, you're going to say followed by a verb in the past participle form. Most regular verbs, to be able to put a verb in the past participle form, it's pretty straightforward. You just take off the AR ending and you add ado. If it's an IR or an ER verb, you take off that ending and you make it ido. For example, practicar would be practicado. For example, I have practiced would be he practicado. I have eaten would be he comido. Unless it's irregular, you've got verbs like hacer, which is not ha sido. It becomes hecho. So to say I have done it would be he hecho. But you can easily Google most common irregular verbs in the past participle for a list of those and to practice those. But that's how you say I have done something. And you can look up the different conjugations of haber, of course. It's a pretty straightforward thing to do, but it does require some practice and memorization. To say daily, I said a diario. So I said that I like to do, I think I said that I like to go to the gym daily. So me gusta ir al gimnasio a diario. And I also said in my day-to-day, whatever, which is en mi día a día. I feel like a lot of the vocabulary was pretty straightforward, but hopefully you're able to get some new vocabulary out of this. By the way, a lot of times in Spanish you'll have words like, when I said pickleball and disc golf, there's not really a translation for that. A lot of times Spanish speakers will just use the English word. So remember that a lot of Spanish speakers will typically use English words. So whenever you're trying to speak, something that I used to do was, if I didn't know the word, I would just say it in English. Spanglish is a language too. So when in doubt, use Spanglish. If you don't know a word, say it in English to keep the conversation going, and a lot of the times the other person will know what that word is in English, or they'll help you find the translation, and that way you're not just stuck going the whole time. To keep a conversation flowing, remember that you can always use an English word, and it's typically not a problem, and that way you learn the vocabulary word if that native speaker you're talking to can help you out. So my challenge for you today is to take a few of these words and new vocabulary and new verbs specifically that you've learned, or maybe these phrases that I kind of went over, and think of at least 10 or 15 different phrases that you could use that apply to your life. Maybe you don't have anything to do with these activities. Maybe you don't like any of the things that I like to do, which is fine. Take the things that you like to do. Maybe it's video games, maybe it's walking, maybe it's hiking with your dog. Find the way to talk about that and using these same verbs and vocabulary that you've learned today. If you'd like to see more of these videos, or if you have some suggestions for some topics you'd like me to cover and talk about, please like this video and leave a comment and subscribe to the channel so that I know that it's worth making more of these. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.